Welcome to this session on the upskill program. This is mainly on operating system and database. Afternoons, we will have OS principles, database principles, and then some of the advanced principles after the first 1 to 1.5 months of programming and testing. There will be some more concepts being taken during this afternoon sessions. We will be doing 1:30 to 2:15, and then maybe a few minutes gap. After that, we'll do again 2:15 to or 2:20 to 3. We will not go till 3:30. Okay. This session will be, first session will be concepts giving as well as some few exercises. Then the second one will be completely exercise. What I'm showing you here is the human physiology diagrams. You could see a lot of diagrams over here. Everywhere you could see the brain, and then there is a bone system, there's a tissue system, there is obviously nervous system, and then you have got eyes, nose, ears. And if you take this brain alone, okay, this brain alone, it has got its own anatomy. Okay, there is a frontal lobe that takes care of thinking, and then there is a parietal lobe where there's a memory, and there is a lot of areas within the brain are responsible for different purposes. One will do the sensory, one will do the involuntary muscle control, one will do some of the regular voluntary activities, right? One will recognize smell. The reason why I'm bringing this is thanks to these websites to bring this great diagrams. The reason why I do this is finally your machine, if I go to task manager, right click task manager, you could see something called a performance over here, and it talks about CPU, memory, disk, network, right? So the CPU is your brain. This memory is part of the brain. This disk is also part of the brain. Rest everything is in terms of network is your nervous system. And you have got eyes as your input device, ears as your input device, nose as input as well as output device, mouth as input as well as output device. So your skin can recognize certain things. So it's the sensor within your skin. So if you see the current day's architecture of every system, the ML and AI, they are trying to come very close to how this memory can behave. Now, the purpose of this session, this operating system related session, is to ensure people have sufficient knowledge in the OS principles. People think programming alone is just the thing. No, programming alone is not the thing. Programming needs so much of packaging. Program needs a language, program needs a database, program needs a hardware, program needs somebody to package, program needs to be deployed, someone to maintain. Essentially, programming is only a very, very small part of the whole stuff. This is why people should know the fundamentals of operating system very, very clearly. We are taking Linux because on the server side, Linux is extremely famous. And this is the de facto software for today. Previously, Unix is there, still Unix is there. Unix used to come from IBM and then from Sun, from HP, but still it is not fully available to everyone. If I try to take IBM Linux onto a HP machine, will it work perfectly or not? I don't know. So what happens is the open source movement came, and then they have made Linux as open source. The Linux itself is created as open source and freely available. Today, everywhere you go, server side, it is all Linux, right? And least affected by the virus, so-called virus that comes to Windows machines. And the Linux is not just alone, no. The Linux is supported by so many big companies. They are all using Amazon, Facebook, Google. If you take any of these biggies, Linux is used. So as a programmer or as a tester, you should definitely know the Linux basics and you should know how to practice it. I have seen some of the situations where people say, I will work only on Windows. I don't know Linux, even after 3 to 4 years of experience. Today's world is not expecting that. Today's world expects you to know both Windows and Linux and hands-on. As I repeatedly say, knowledge alone is not sufficient. You need to have the skill set. Okay. And Linux has got a lot of distributions or flavors. There is a thing called Ubuntu Linux. It is only one Microsoft Windows. There is nothing like Microsoft Windows, Sun Windows. No, there is only one Microsoft Windows. Whereas in Linux, you have got Fedora, Ubuntu, Red Hat, Kali Linux, SUSE Linux, Debian Linux. So these are called distributions. These distributions are possible because they made it open source and people can use this and modify it. So the Linux, what does it do? Essentially, any operating system, there is a hardware. This is like your body. Within your body, your brain, and then your nervous system, network card, your hard disk, the chips, power supply, fan, everything is part of the hardware. You as a user cannot deal with hardware directly. So you need to have somebody sitting in between the hardware and you. That is, you will still interact with the applications. Like I interact with this Word as an application. Within the Word, I have the content. But Word alone directly cannot talk to the hardware. So in between, the operating system lies the interface between you or the applications and the hardware. This is the basic understanding. This probably you would have learned. I just want to refresh that. Now coming to the very specific of Linux, underlying thing is a hardware. Something that can talk to hardware is the kernel. Okay, is the kernel. It is called a kernel. Kernel is again a piece of software, system software, that can send instructions to hardware, that can get information from hardware and then passing back to you. Shell on top of kernel is the interface that you can talk to kernel. You cannot directly talk to hardware. All the applications, you create a web application, you create a database as an application, you create a C++ application, they internally talk to shell, they internally talk to kernel, and then hardware is being used. Because finally, memory has to be used, CPU has to be used, network has to be used, disk has to be used. Without these four vital organs in your system, nothing can work. So the applications talk to these. Again, your C++ compilers or Java compilers, they work on top of it. Output devices, again, system commands, all the other system commands, they will all deal with the shell. This is how it is a very, very simple architecture. Kernel sits on top of hardware, shell sits on top of the kernel, and then applications directly deal with that. This is how the whole architecture is there. I'll stop my screen here. To help me, Mr. Krishnan is there. I'm going to make Krishnan the presenter. Krishnan is our DevOps manager. Krishnan has handled hundreds of servers, maybe even thousands of servers in his more than 10 plus years of experience as a hardware engineer, as well as a system administrator, as well as a DevOps manager for us. He will take you through the complete stuff, including installing the software. Before Krishnan starts, I would like to have one question for you. I just paused the record.
So, good afternoon all. So, I'm sharing my screen. Hope I am audible. Please confirm by raising your hands. So, are you able to see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So, I'm going to walk through you how to install a Ubuntu OS in your physical laptop. Okay. For doing that, you need a minimum system requirement of 4 GB memory and a 2 core CPU. So if you want to know how to get those information, you need to get into the task manager and go to the performance tab. There you will see the memory and the processor here. Okay, the cores. So my laptop has a physical core of 2 and the logical processor it will divided as a 4. So here you can see the cores and here you can get the memory details right in that. Okay, so minimum it requires a 4 GB of RAM and 2 core processor, and hard disk it can go to 100 GB or something like that. Minimum requirement is 30 GB hard disk required. Okay, so you can either install the Linux OS in your physical laptop, or you can put that Linux OS alongside with your Windows OS, or else you can install the Ubuntu OS on top of any of the VirtualBox tool. So these are the three methods you can install the Linux OS in your laptop. So I'm going to show you the third method by installing the VirtualBox tool on top of it, installing the Ubuntu OS in your laptop. So for installing those, the prerequisites are you need to have the Microsoft Visual C++ redistributable exe from your system. If it is not there, you can install it by using the link. I will share those links end of the session. Okay. Then the
1 minute, Krishnan.
yeah.
Also, what we want people to do is when we show certain experiments, don't do side by side. Okay. Sometimes what happens is it'll clash. You will not be able to do justice for your installation, as well as you will not be able to listen parallelly. So first to listen to these things. The recording is also made available. Once the session is over, the recording will be available. These links will be passed on to you. So what you can do is you can do the installation later, but at least for now, please listen to this thing. Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Krishnan.
Thank you. Thank you. So the second prerequisite for installing the installing the Ubuntu OS on top of the VirtualBox tool, you need to enable the virtualization technology in your laptop BIOS or the desktop BIOS. So those situation also I will share it with you. Then you need to have the Ubuntu software to download. So this is the link to download the software, and this is the link how to install the Ubuntu OS inside the virtual machine. It will give you the step-by-step installation. Okay, so I'm not going to install it right now. I have already have the Oracle VirtualBox with me. I have already installed the Ubuntu OS. Just I will show you how to open it. You just install the virtual machine. once you have installed it, you will have the icon like this here, Oracle
Okay.
VirtualBox.
Okay, so how to get to this box? So who will give me this box, so Krishnan? I don't have anything. So where will I download whatever you have downloaded and installed it?
Yeah, in Google, you just go to the Google and download Oracle VirtualBox. VirtualBox for Windows 10 or Windows 11. You can get it from here.
Okay.
Okay, this link also I will share it with you. So based on your operating system, you can download. For Windows, you can click on this link. Okay. So I have downloaded already, and I have installed it already. So once you have opened that Oracle VirtualBox tool, the interface will be like this. So straight away I am going to create a new virtual machine. So I have already created one virtual machine called Ubuntu. So I am take you to the steps for how to create this step. Instead of installing the entire thing, I will create a empty virtual box. I'm not going to install the OS inside that. Okay. So first of all, you need to click on the new icon here. Okay. Then you need to give the operating system name or whichever name you want to refer. You just give, you can give any name. Say for example, I'm giving Red or something like that. The second thing is you need to select a um, location for the virtual disk to store. What location you are going to store the virtual machine. So I am choosing the another path. By default, it will be saving it to the in your user directory under that your username under the VirtualBox VMs. It will by default it will choose. For me, I am going to choose the another location under VM. I am going to create a one more folder called Red Hat. I am choosing the directory. So my virtual machine will be storing in that directory. So I don't have that ISO Red Hat ISO image. I have only the Ubuntu ISO image. I am selecting the image as well. So after you downloaded the Ubuntu ISO image from this website, it will be in your hard disk. So I am storing it in my project folder. There will be a ISO image, something like you'll be seeing like this. Okay, that ISO file will be there. Not able to find the ISO file here. Yeah, like this. So this ISO image you have to load it here actually by choosing the path. ISO image you have to choosing here, and that's all. Then you have to click to next, and it will take you. It will ask you for the virtual machine box name and the password. Password you can give anything, and the host name it will ask. Host name you can give anything. I am giving test machine. Something like that. I'm giving domain name if you want to give, or else you can remove the domain name like that. So if you that's all. If you click on the install background, it will install inside. It will install the background, or else you don't want that. You can continue the installation. It will ask for the few steps like what language if you prefer to install and something like that, keyboard something like that, and you will give it next step. It will take you to the OS script finally.
So essentially, you have to have Ubuntu image downloaded first,
correct.
and then this
Correct.
VirtualBox downloaded and then installed, start running,
Yes.
then go through this procedure. That's all, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
So that is
Okay.
what I'm mentioning here. Now
Okay.
I'm going to, after the installation has been completed, uh, the machine name will be
How
appearing
long
here.
usually it takes? Does it take half an hour
Normally it
to
should take
how long?
20 minutes, max 30. It's
Okay.
depend upon the system performance.
Okay.
Okay.
So if you have
Normally,
a minimum 4 GB or 6 GB RAM and then that hard disk, it should not take beyond half an hour, correct?
yeah, half an hour. Yes, exactly.
Okay.
So I'm going to switch on the virtual machine
So
by,
hold
yeah,
on. Let us not
yes,
jump. Let us not jump.
yeah,
So you have installed, assuming that you have installed. If you click that next and then go, it will take another 15 minutes. You don't want to waste that time here. So after installation, this is how you will get something like, right?
correct, correct.
An entry will come like this,
Yes,
right?
yes. And one
Now
more,
let me ask
yeah,
you this question.
yeah,
Suppose you have installed something like that in your machine.
okay.
Can we give just that dump fully installed version itself so that people can use download and then straight away without going through the installation? Is there any
That is
option like
also
that?
possible. I can import the virtual machine and I can share it with them. They can export it. That details I will share with them later.
Okay, but
There are
it
certain
will be a
process to
huge
be
large file, right?
followed. Correct.
Okay,
So
fine.
it depends upon the hard disk size, how much hard disk size I have chosen. Say for example, if you go to the settings, yeah, this is the another thing I'm going to tell you. So this will be the system general information. What is the system name I have given, and what is the system description, something like that I have given while creating the system. And while creating the virtual box, you can give the uh, memory allocation as well. How much RAM it can use. So I am allocating 2 GB of memory for now. You can give 4 GB or 6 GB based on your memory installed in your system. Same like you can assign the storage as well. Okay. So here I am assigning only 50 GB of storage for this virtual machine alone. You can create a 100 GB hard disk, or you can create 20 GB or 50 GB hard disk, everything. So while creating the virtual box, the option will be displayed there. Okay.
Okay, so now you have, assuming that you have installed the system,
Yeah.
I'll just take a pause here. Uh, for the students who are attending the session, we will be giving the recorded session also. Along with that, we will also put the installation file, whatever Krishnan has given as an instruction. We will also put that in shared folder so that you'll be in a position to see that. Okay, you can take it from that. But what I would suggest is probably 2 people together or 3 people together rather than one person trying in your college or as a group. You can try these installations. The reason why we want to start from this kind of an installation procedure is, take it from me, once a guy is recruited in our company, we will give instructions, but we will not spoon feed that guy. You will say, hey, get an Linux, Ubuntu Linux installed on your machine, and then install MySQL on top of it, then install Apache server, and then start working. That will be the instruction. We will also train, but we will not sit next to that guy. All these things are supposed to be known right at the college level. That is why we are now putting it. So rather than one person breaking your head alone, you work as 2 or 3 member group. Okay, work as 2 or 3 member group. Get the installations correct. How to install, install, uninstall. Try that, because many to most of the times, even now, I have got 3 decades of experience. Even now, whichever I need, I will go ahead and then download, install by myself. I will not expect anybody else to help me. That kind of a freedom, that kind of an independence that you should achieve very, very quickly. Within this week, I should like every one of you very, very comfortable with installation, because let me tell you, this installation procedure, if it is not right, you are dependent on somebody else. If that somebody else is not responding 4 or 5 hours or even a few days, you may have to sit idle in the company without doing anything. Because if the software is not installed, if the software is not ready to use, you cannot work. So installation procedure is very, very simple. Of these instructions, some of the downloads, Krishnan can also put it in the QA session and in the QA chat. If you see, if you can copy paste that, okay? Krishnan, can you quickly do one thing? Some of the top downloads that you have mentioned in your screen, right, in your notepad, can you copy paste the first one or two, yeah, up to that point? Yes, up to that point, from prerequisite to the to download Ubuntu. Can you copy paste the entire text in the QA and copy paste in the, let me see whether I will be in a position to copy paste it back, because sometimes the copy paste may not be available. Okay, so I need to check whether it is
Sure.
you just copy paste it here. Let me see whether I will be able to take it. The QA.
Pasted. Yes.
Yeah. Now I see that text. Right click copy. Let me try to do. Yeah, I'm able to copy paste. Yes, all the people, whatever that is instruction that has come from Krishnan on your QA, copy paste. He will also give that in a separate document in our course material page. But for now, please copy paste this. Okay. Are you able to copy paste? If you are able to copy paste from the QA chat window, please raise your hands. Good. A lot of people are raising. Good. That is good. Fine. Because sometimes this copy paste is disabled in some of the webinars, so people are unable to do that. Just verified. This is good. Now, Krishnan, you can go back to the window. Okay. You can just go to the window and then show how to boot that. Right now you have installed the software. You have installed the operating system. What is the next procedure?
You have to boot the system. Before booting the system, you can adjust the hardware thing, or if you go with the default thing, you just go and straight away double click the icon, whatever the icon I am currently showing here. So I'm going to booting the Ubuntu machine. Just double click it. It will open like this in another window. Let's wait for a few moments.
The other window we are not able to see fully. Can you bring it to the center?
It will be like that only.
Okay.
You can get it like that. So it will open in the other window like this. So the system is booting up. It will take 2 minutes to load fully.
Okay. Let it come. And guys, take it from me. Often we will be dealing with Linux on the server side only, because deployment on the Linux side is extremely critical. As programmers as well as testers, going through Linux is very, very important. Ubuntu prompt is coming, it seems, right?
No. That booting process is going on.
Okay. If the system is faster, this will also come faster, correct? Yeah.
Yes.
If the system has got more memory and then it is faster,
Yeah.
it will also come faster, right?
Yes.
This will
Yes.
also boot
Definitely.
faster.
Yes. Definitely.
Okay.
So my Ubuntu is finally loaded. So I have installed the Ubuntu version 16.04, the latest stable version. Now the latest stable version is 22. Okay, I have installed the old version, but I will share the latest link with download link. Okay. So finally you have got the interface. The Ubuntu interface looks like this only. So it's same like it looks like a, Mac, something like that. Okay. So I'm logging into the, so Ubuntu is my username and I'm going to give my password. The password, while you install the Ubuntu OS, it will ask you for the system username and the password. So that username and password you can use here. Okay. So I'm logging into my machine.
Any idea on what is the size of this initial Ubuntu image that you downloaded? How long
I
it
have
took for you to download?
it took 30 minutes. My internet bandwidth is 100 Mbps. For me, it took 15 minutes to download the latest stable version 22. I will tell
How
you
many
the size.
GBs are there? How many MBs or
Uh,
GBs?
the,
Uh-huh.
it's around
3.6 GB.
3.6. I have
Okay, you can
already downloaded it. So let me
okay, you can
continue.
stop it. Yeah. Okay. So what I would suggest is as the prompt come, yeah, now it has fully booted, correct?
Yeah, fully booted.
Okay. Okay. Now let us stop here. Let us stop.
Okay.
The reason why I want to put a break here is we would like everyone to come to this level first. They need to have, if they already have Ubuntu installed on their machine, or they how to do virtual this get this virtual machine in their own PC, it is well and good. But 2/3 of people have told that they have not installed the software. First, what I would suggest is let us take a break over here. Let people download whatever prerequisite you have given, right? You can go to that notepad.
Yeah.
So let them download this VM box and then Ubuntu, right? First thing also they have to download, right?
And I will
Uh,
share with them the Oracle VirtualBox download link.
share that also in the
PA box. PH.
yeah in the QA, and also put it in the document so that you will have everything in
Yeah,
one place.
sure.
Right. So let people download Oracle VirtualBox, okay, and install, and also the Ubuntu image. Then let them also do this, get this VM ready for that by adjusting the BIOS. That is, you have given an instruction in the BIOS, right? For BIOS adjustment to allow virtual machines. Correct? Can you show that? Or while rebooting only it will come,
Yeah,
right?
while
Not
rebooting only it will show. So while rebooting, they have to press the F10 button or F12 based on the laptop make.
so
So
first
for all the yeah,
I would suggest let people uh, download this software, and first it will take time because it's as you said, it will take some time. Let them take the time, let
The
them
VirtualBox
download.
does not take much time,
Right.
and
At least
also
download VirtualBox and install VirtualBox. Right.
correct. Yeah.
And then they should be able to open that VirtualBox, see this UI that you have shown. It should say new and all those things.
Yeah.
Only this thing, unless they download the the image, the Ubuntu image, they will not be able to do it. Correct. So let us take a break. Even if we go slow, no problem. Let us take a break, and I'll stop recording here.
Okay.